Welcome to Miss Carol's art class. We're going over Adobe Photoshop combining two images, and this is part 3 of our project. We'll be using the Eyedropper Tool, Brush Tool, FX Noise Filter, and FX Drop Shadow. We're going to use the eyedropper to pick out which color we need. And for this project, for her hair, I want to select a darker brown tint in her hair. And I'm going to apply that all over her hair using the brush tool. After your color is selected, you want to make sure that you have a small brush size and a soft round brush. Also make sure that the opacity is turned down to about 20–25% so that it's kind of transparent. Also make sure that your layer is selected, otherwise it's not going to affect the layer that you're wanting to work on. So I'm just going to apply this all over her hair. I'm going to apply this brush all over her hair using sweeping motions in the same direction as the strands of her hair. And it is only on 25 opacity, so it's pretty transparent. If you need to do more, you can either kick up the opacity or go over a certain section repeatedly. This method can be pretty tedious because you're manually applying color, but it's also a really effective way to get the exact color that you want and where you want it to be. So it depends on what you're doing. For me, I thought this was more effective than using the dodge or burn tool for those reddish, yellowish highlights that she had. And if you need to go back, you can go in the history window and just click up a few. So now that we are done with the brush tool, we are going to apply some effects. If you click on the layer that you want to alter, you can click FX below that, and there's a bunch of effects there. You can also go to the top where it says filter and apply some artistic filters under that section. But for this, we want to do a drop shadow. So we're actually going to go over to the layer. So for this one, we're going to go over to the layer that we want to alter, and we'll go to FX and down to drop shadow. With the drop shadow, you can do a preview, make sure that your preview is selected, and we're going to change the direction of the drop shadow. So if you see how the older Brittany has the drop shadow to the right, we're going to alter. And if you look in the preview window, you're kind of moving that drop shadow around there. That gives you a good idea. You can also see it in the image that you're altering in Photoshop. And you can make the distance wider or more narrow. She's got a narrow shadow on the older Brittany, so we want a more narrow shadow on the younger Brittany. One thing that I did before I started this demo was I applied the blur tool to the older Brittany to make it match the same texture as the younger Brittany, but I also need to add some noise to give it more texture. So I'm going to go to Effects and add noise, and you can make it Gaussian or uniform. For this specific image, uniform works better to match the younger Brittany. And with the preview clicked, you can determine which number or amount you want to use. I'm going to go with 2. So we've added a noise effect, we've added a drop shadow, and we've added some color correcting using the brush tool. That's all I have for today, and we'll do more in the next video.